There's a beautiful art in trying, and I think we are slowly forgetting it. The second something becomes difficult, we want to leave. The second we are not immediately good at something, we assume we are not meant for it. The second something doesn't work, we call it a sign. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm not talented enough. Maybe I should do something else. And I understand that because I've been through those things too, more times than I'd like to admit. There was a time when I thought my life had already been decided for me. I gave my NEET exam, I got into dentistry, and on paper, everything looked fine. It was a respectable career, it was safe, it was something I could explain to people, but somewhere deep inside, I knew I wasn't happy, and I didn't really know that what to do with that feeling because sometimes the hardest thing isn't knowing what you want, it's admitting that the life you've been working towards isn't the life you want anymore. So I started painting, not because I had some huge plan to become an artist. Honestly, I didn't. I didn't go to an art school. I didn't know how to sell paintings, how to make website, or how to make videos. I didn't know if anyone could care about the things I made. I just knew I loved painting. And at first, that was enough. Painting became the little corner of my life where I could forget everything else. I could sit down with a blank canvas, and for a few hours, nothing else mattered. No expectations, no exams, no career plans, no question of whether I was doing the right thing, just me and this strange little world I was creating with paint. And slowly, something happened. The thing I started as an escape started becoming the thing I wanted to build my life around. And that's where the romantic version of following your dreams ends. Because loving something doesn't mean it will be easy. Actually, sometimes loving something makes it harder because now you care. You start wondering, what if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if I spend years doing this and nothing happens? And I've had those thoughts. I sat in front of painting that weren't working and wondered why I was even doing this. I've made things that nobody saw. I posted things that didn't perform. And then there are days when I look at everything I've made and think, I actually did this. Not perfectly, not quickly, but somehow I kept going. I think the best lesson painting has taught me is incredibly simple. Sit down and do it. That's it. Sometimes you don't need another tutorial. You don't need another motivational video. You don't need the perfect supplies. You don't need to wait until you're inspired. You just need to sit down and make the first mark. Because when I look at blank canvas, I'm looking at something that doesn't exist yet, and the only way to change that is to begin. One brush stroke, then another, and another, and sometimes the first few strokes are terrible, but that's okay because you can correct something that you haven't created yet. I have started thinking maybe life works the same way. We want to see the whole picture before we start. We want to know exactly where our career is going, exactly how much money we'll make, exactly whether our business will succeed, whether people will like our work, whether the dream is going to work. But imagine if I stood in front of a blank canvas and refused to paint until I knew exactly how the final painting would look. I never paint anything, and maybe that's what we do with our lives. We wait for certainty, for confidence, we wait until we are ready, and while we were waiting, our canvas stays blank. And I want to be honest about something. I'm still figuring it out. I'm still learning. I'm still trying to understand how to make this work. I'm still learning how to turn something I love into something sustainable. I'm still learning how to sell my work, how to make videos, how to build a little place on the internet for my art. Maybe you are watching this and you are in middle of something you are trying to build. Maybe you have a dream. Maybe you have it for years and you haven't told anyone. Maybe you don't even know if it's realistic. Maybe you've already tried and failed. Maybe you are tired of starting over, and maybe you are wondering how many times I'm supposed to try. I don't know. I really don't. I can promise you that if you work hard enough, you'll get everything you want. Life doesn't work like that. Sometimes you can try your hardest and things still don't work. Sometimes you have to change direction. Sometimes you have to let something go. But there's something I want you to ask yourself before you do. Are you actually done or you are just tired? Because those aren't the same thing. You are allowed to rest, to have a bad day, to make something terrible, to take a break, to question yourself. You are allowed to cry. You are allowed to say, I don't know what I'm doing. I say that all the time, but maybe we need to stop confusing rest with giving up. Sometimes putting the brush down is exactly what you need. You just have to remember to pick it up again. One of my favorite thing about painting is that you can change your mind. You can paint over something, you can scrape it away, you can add another layer, another color, you can make the sky darker, you can completely change the direction and nobody says, well, that's it. You made one mistake, so the painting is over. You just keep working, and maybe we should give ourselves the same permission. You choose the wrong career, you can change. You made a mistake, learn. Your first business failed, start differently. Your first video got no views, make another. Your first attempt didn't work, try again. Not the exact same way, not blindly. Try with everything you learned from the last attempt. That's how you grow. I used to think I wanted a life where everything worked out. Now I think I want something different. I want a life where I can look back and know that I participated in it, that I didn't just choose the safest option every time. I didn't spend my whole life wondering what if. I want to know that I tried. I made things. I painted. I failed. I started business that didn't work. I made videos that nobody watched. I made bad paintings. I tried things I didn't know how to do. I embarrassed myself a little. I changed my mind. I started over because that's what a life actually is. Not a perfectly planned masterpiece, but a collection of attempts. So, if you're listening to this and there's something you've been working to do, don't wait until you're completely ready. You probably won't be. Don't wait until you are sure it will work. You can't be. Just begin. Begin badly, begin scared, begin with whatever you have, begin with the cheap brushes, the old laptop, zero followers, no audience, begin with nobody believing in you, begin even if you don't know what you are doing because you can learn along the way, you can improve, you can change the plan, you can start again, but you can't build a life around a dream that you never give a chance.